are you playing on, and what is the difference?
This organ is one of the 5 or 6 instruments of the Conservatoire. This is for us, the jewel of the Conservatoire. You know, it's an Italian organ from 1704, coming from the Naples original, and so we bought it about 10 years ago, and it's just, you know, so charming on any point. First, because of the temperament, the tuning and the temperament. It's what we call middle tone, which means that it's possible to play on some keys, but not on other. If I can show you some kind of examples, you will have this. Which sounds very nicely, and then we can do this. Or even worse. Better. And that means that all the, usually on an organ, all the 12 tones are just divided equally. Now. But before it was not the case. And when I play, for example, a chromatic scale, then you will hear the difference between all semitones. And that will give all the color of the ancient music, which is very important, because we really hear what the composers made to make this music working with that kind of instrument. More of that, we have what we call the octave courte, short octave, which means that on the bass, there were some notes because of the temperament, which was never used. And of course, it cost a lot of money because there was big pipes, or bigger pipes, and then they decided to make a short octave, which means that the C is played on the E key, you see, and then the D is on the F sharp, the E is on the G sharp, and then normal. Which means that we can make big intervals. For example, it's not possible to play C and G on one hand, you know. But here on the bass, no problem. So the composers of that time used all of those things to make the music possible with just, you know, one manual and a few stops. And well, for everybody, the students, and also for us, it's just incredible to have that kind of instruments here. This is not the only instrument that we have. We have also other instruments. On 3 practice instruments, one of the French Romantic style, another one on the Zilberman style, and another one which is a unit organ electric with combination action and a lot of systems. We can change the pedal board. If some people, some students have to pass a competition somewhere in the United States, for example, they can change the pedal board, have the rate of the pedal board like in America. So we try to have the maximum of possibilities for the students to, you know, to get used to any kind of instrument.
Michael always, well, he just said to me that the modern organ is all clean. I mean, clean, gestimmt.
Yeah, equal temperament.
Yeah. But has that to do also with the system, the old system and the new system? Playing, for example, Bach in different ways?
About the tuning, here this is middle tone, which is really the most, what I can say, the most extreme of some way that we can imagine. And then during the 2 centuries, during the 17th and 18th century, then the organists, and all the musicians, wanted to go to something not that strong, and so try to reduce all these unequal intervals. And so there are 2 systems of tunings, one with the pure thirds, another one with the pure quints, and then it is something totally different. Mostly, for example, well, it's a bit difficult to resume like this, but mostly in France, Spain, Italy, that was more this pure thirds. In Germany, that was more the quint. which were pure. And so those systems made different things. Johann Sebastian Bach, for example, composed what we call the clavecin bien tempéré, for tempérer le clavier. And he tried to make everything working for all the 12 keys. Although it is for the 12 keys, it was not totally equal. It was still a little bit unequal, which means that all the tonalities had their own character, which was very important. And Bach composed, we can hear that the character of the piece depends really of the key which is used. And sorry.
No, I'm just trying to understand what was meant by the system Bach, the old system, and the new system. I mean, system, is that the interpretation of how Bach?
No. You can play a piece of Bach on an equal temperament, and also on an unequal temperament, but then the music will sound totally different, because on the unequal temperament, especially if it is a temperament that Bach has known, then the music will sound with more dissonance, more affect. And this is very important, because when we play, for example, that music on an equal temperament, like this big organ, for example, of course we can play it, but we will miss a lot of things, and this is very important, to go back to that kind of sources, just to hear what the sound of the music could have been, because it's not only the question of the sound of the pipes, but also how the tuning is made, and all combined will go back to really some kind of a historical reference to that kind of music. And this is very important, because then we will have the soul of the music.
Maybe it's also important for the students to understand that the perfectionism and the only clean notes will not necessarily make good music and good musicians. Is that?
I think for the student it's very important to experiment many things. So they can play here some pieces by Bach. It's not ideal because it's too much for the temperament. But anyway, they have two other instruments where they can play Bach in another way with another tuning, and then they can hear the difference when they go on those instruments, and also here on the Rigueur, which is totally equal temperament. And then the music will sound different, and then they will have this found by themselves what they can do, what they cannot do, and what the temperament will bring to this music. But of course, it is exactly also on the opposite way. You cannot play a piece by Messiaen, Widor, Franck, Vierne, I don't know, on an unequal temperament, because there it would sound awful. And those people were trained with equal temperament, and they composed their music with this temperament. So I think it's important really to respect all of those different things. And this is what makes the organ so, so exciting, because you have so many kind of tunings, so many kind of instruments, styles, etc. So, one life is not enough to discover all of that, and it's so nice. It's always, a big discovery. Each time it's a new experiment.